Alright guys, hope you're doing well and great. Alright, in this content for today we're going to be talking about scaling your idea, scaling your business idea, understanding the stage of your business. Right. So the content that I want to share with you is based on my experience, right? We all want to, scale our business to a higher level, but sometimes that get crushed, We don't want that to happen when we understand how do we structure our business, or do we really understand the core of our business, right? So we are going to be talking about mainly 3 points today. So the first one is going to be actually 3 models we have it, right? So I'm going to structure it in 3 models. So the first one is going to be standard business model. So that's a standard business model, right? What happened is that what kind of a business model is this, right? So this model is kind of a startup model where everybody get easy access with less price, with less investment, less capital. But the problem here is that the market is very big, right? The market is huge. So as the market is very big, it becomes kind of a very saturated. The competition is very high. You end up getting your business, your brand, your model, whatever, buried under these competitions, right? So one of the best example I would like you to share is, say, for example, if you have to start your drop shipping business, or if you have to start your e-commerce business, or if you want to start something like FBA, or anything related with small investment. The thing is that the market gets saturated very fast. The competition goes very fast. Recently, we have seen that there was a lot of ad goings on YouTube, or people who are into social media marketing, right? They were advertising to a lot of young guys, or not necessarily young guys, to everyone that there's easy access to make money through social media marketing managers. Of course, they are, but then the skill levels also requires the pricing as well, right? So if you are a startup, then probably nobody will believe you or trust you or will work you, because your experience in that industry is very less. But then here what happened is that everybody is trying to get access because they think that they know how to use Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and all those things. So everybody thinks that they want to get into this business, and they try their best to get more clients. But what happened is that they end up getting crushed in this business model because the competition is very high, the entry is very low, and it's very easy access, and it's a one-man show, right? So what happened is that you have to understand the model of the business itself is kind of very much saturated, right? So let's say if there is 10 people who are looking for social media managers, right? And think about it, the demand becomes lower and the suppliers become higher. So what happens is that the price get low, right? So there is always a demand and supply, things that you have to scale it. So the demand for social media managers is high, but then the problem was that people did not know much. So the supply was less and the price was high. But now in this generation, because everybody is using phones, smartphone, cameras, and all those things, it becomes easy access, and the resources are becoming, very much easier to access. So the problem becomes like high competitions and crushing your dream or your investment into the wrong basket, right? So here's what I want you to understand is that if you have a kind of a business plan, and if you want to get in one-man show, there are a lot of business that you can get into it, right? But you have to understand the simple thing called SWOT, SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. Every business that you have to structure, you have to understand this concept very well and have to do your research, because you don't want to be kind of in the, the supply and the demand where you don't have many clients who demands for these kind of services of yours, but then you have a lot of suppliers, like everybody wants to be social media managers or agency, right? Similarly, if you want to start your own e-commerce product, want to become a FBA or Shopify sellers, whatever, drop shippers, right? The problem is that do you have the sufficient client base, customer base, audience base to supply your product. If not, or if you have the product or just your SKU, is kind of a bit large scale. If it's not, then probably the competition is going to be very high. So in this case, the best way to do is focus on one particular product, not only, like, for example, I would say if you are focusing on like a digital equipment, right? I would say just go focus on only on camera and don't go with different Nikons, Sony, Canon. No, don't do that. Just go specifically on Canon and sell the cameras, the lens, the batteries, and all those other gears and accessories, right? So you just focus on one particular product, right? Particular brand, particular item. So you should be the specialist for that. What happened here is that you will know more and much information and provide the best, resource to your client than the guy who knows everything. So sometimes it's good to know a lot of things, but then for comparison's purpose only. But then when you try to serve, you want to serve a quality service to your customers. So focus on one particular thing if you want to be in this business. But here's the thing that you have to understand is that this business is kind of very wide. Many people want to get easy entry, less investment, so the competition is going to be very high. Here in this business, you do not need much capital, you do not need many resources, which is manpower, but you just need some sorts of platform subscriptions and a contact supply and demand supplies, supply to fulfill your supply chain. That's all you need. So basically that means that if you are not manufacturing it, you just need to contact the manufacturers and they will be able to do the drop shipping for you. So that's something that you want to kind of set it up, but then you understand what is in this business model, standard business model, right? Now the second one is the complex business model. What happened in the complex business model is that it's the next level of the standard business. People who have experience in the standard business level, they understood that the competition in the standard business model is very high, but based on that field or that realm, right? They have earned that experience, knowledge, and skill set, so they bring it to the next level, and which is the complex business model. What happened here is that, say for example, I'll give you a very good example on this one. Is the franchise business, right? First, you were a store, you start your restaurants, or you start your coffee shop, or you start your grocery, or whatever, like little brands you started. Now, then you want to expand those business, right? You understand how to operate your business, that first business, small business, and then you want to scale it up because you know that you cannot do yourself everything. So you want to add people, resource, manpower, capital, all those things, right? So now you have to have the experience. So in this business model, complex business model, what you need is the experience, the skill set, the knowledge to operate the business, so that whatever you are doing, you can replicate, duplicate, and share it the concept to other person, and then make the kind of income out of those. So that possible, or say the business structure would be a franchise business model or brand licensing model. So for example, McDonald's is one of those, Domino's Pizzas is one of those. So they have started a restaurant before, and then they know the concepts and the whole supply systems is there already with the first store, and then they want to expand it. So what they do is that they just offer the license to and the franchise model to the other people, right? So it's complex, but it's not, the competition is not that high because they already built the brand, they already have the saturated market, they already dominate the market. So you are kind of visible among all those other crowds, right? So that is other things that you have to understand. So in this business model, the complex business model, what you need to understand is you need to understand, if you don't have that experience, right, there are a lot of people who has this experience in the business, you can just hire them. So for example, let's say if you want to start a business on a burger business, right, you can always talk to somebody. So let's say how much does it going to cost you to start your burger business? About 20,000, 50,000, or 100,000, more than that, right? So before you, and let's say you do not have the experience about the burger business, right? So the best things would be, there are people who are retiring from burger business. It could be from McDonald's, Burger King, or any other burger companies, right? These guys have been working in the company for many years, but they do not have a business. They just work as a manager or one of the supervisors for the company, or say of the restaurant franchise model, whatever, right? You can always hire these people, use them as your mentor, use them as your instructor, use them as your kind of advisor for your business, so that they know the whole system. But the thing is that they have to transfer this knowledge and experience and skills to you. So you have to pay them. So instead of me trying to start, knowing nothing about the business and putting my 50,000, I would rather pay 5,000 to this guy who will help me out to start my business in just less than 10,000 to 15,000 because he bring in the experience and the knowledge. So there are a lot of resources available for you. So if you have this, you want to come into this business model, the first thing is to get an experience. If you do not have the experience, get somebody who has experience in this and offer them kind of a consultancy fee or royalty fees or whatever the fee is, because you do not want to ask them for free, right? That's the thing. Nothing is free in this world, right? So everything has to be paid in exchange of barter or pay, in terms of money or whatever, right? You gotta do that. So if you do not have the experience, talk to the people who are in the business, walk into one of the restaurant, let's say Burger King or McDonald's, just talk to the managers and say, hey man, I'm interested in this kind of a business, but it's kind of a thing that you might not be interested with it, but I just want you to help me out on structuring my business and give me the idea on how to market all those business and bring in your experience in McDonald's to my business. He's going to be a mentor for you. He's going to be somebody who can guide you to the right way, right? So here's the thing, you do not have to invest a lot of money in starting and doing a lot of mistakes when you are building this complex business model, right? So the last one that I want to share with you is the Complicate business model. So let's say this is going to be the last and the final kind of topic, which is the last level of these three models. The first one was the standard business model, easy entry, and which means everybody is going to take part in this business and the competition is going to be very high. But in the complex business is that people come up with an experience, so they know the in and out and the loopholes and all those structures of the business itself. So they are the master of the game because they've been in the game while the rules of the games were made, right? Basically, that's the way it is, right? So because there has been a changes in the business all the time, so these managers has been in the business most of the time. And so if you end up being in the business for more than 10 to 15 years, or at least minimum of 5 years, then you have known that there's a lot of policy guidelines and all those things that has been updated. Similarly, you have also seen that the guy who is in the business managers, right, he got promoted every level every 2 or 3 years, then that means that the guy has a lot of experience. And on the side, that's going to be his side hustle. And if he is making 5,000 to 10,000 just consulting you, guiding you, who will not do that, right? Of course, they will do it. So it's an easy way to get in contact and network with people. So the last thing is the Complicate business model. So the Complicate business model is the end, like as we mentioned. So in this business, it's going to be a very large scale. The functions, the whole framework is going to be very, very big, right? And the competitions in this business is not going to be that much because you are totally kind of a different scale. So what happened here is that you actually need a lot of capital, because if you are kind of building this kind of a complicated business, you really need capital, because you need at least a good amount of a runway to operate your business for 2 to 3 years until you raise the next investment round, which is going to be you already invested at least 6 to 1 months to scale your business and understand if the business is working or not, right? Or let's say you move first, you start from a standard business, right? And then you become the complex business owner. Now you want to move that complex business to a complicated business model. Then you have the experience already, but the complicated business model is the expansion, or say 10x or 20x or 100x of the complex business, right? So in this, you are on the top list already. But speaking of top list, what you need is a lot of resource, and the resource can be only bought by investment capital. So you need to have a lot of funds with you. The competitions, for example, not the competitions. The example would be, let's say, UberEats, right? Uber has already the system. Uber is working with the people who have been operating the business, restaurant business, for more than years and years and years, right? Can be new and old, or doesn't matter, right? But they're in the restaurant business. So the guy who operates the restaurant is an experienced guy. That's why he's being on his business, right? And then Uber try to kind of integrate those guys in their system. At the same time, they have to integrate the customer and also the delivery driver, and also with all those tax system, and to monitor all those structures, they need customer service, they need engineers to build whole platform, right? And also legal team to manage all those complicated applications or things that will come up. So yes, to understand or to validate your idea itself, you have to understand this three model very well. The first thing is the standard model. The competition is going to be very high because it's easy access. The second one is it's a complex business. The capital is not going to be that much, but then what you need is the experience, the knowledge, and to run that business and to expand the business in a very sophisticated way, or people who would be interested to kind of buy your product or use your product basically. So the third one is going to be complex business. In this business, what you have to understand is that, do you have the resource? Do you have the capital? Do you have the manpower? Do you have the skills and experience? And can you afford this business at least for the next 2 to 3 years, or at least 5 years if you're trying to go to IPO, right? So you have to understand this business model very well, because without the capital, this business won't run for sure. That's the reason people go to IPO, or if not, then you raise investment A, B, C, D, whatever, right? That's the stage of the capital investment stage. Because at this point, when you are trying to run this complex business model, when you're trying to run this complicated business model, you will not be able to get much of the high investment from the angel investor or anybody who is a 1 or 2 individual, contributor for your business. So you want to go with the venture capital, will require a lot of input and data from you, and so for that to provide all those to facilitate all those requirements, you actually need a lot of manpower, or say the resource to operate the business. All right, guys, I hope this content is going to be very helpful for you, I guess, because I don't want your dream to be crushed, because you might be thinking a lot. One day you want to be an Amazon, one day you want to be an UberEats, one day you want to be in a SpaceX, right? I don't want you to get crushed on your dream, right? I mean, get crushed on your dream, but I don't want you to crush your dream, basically. The reason is because you have to understand what is the stage, what is the limit, what is the capacity. And here's the thing, if you understand all these structures are very small, one step at a time, then you will, of course, be able to start from an idea to a standard business, to a complex and to complicated business. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. It's not that some sorts of a mirage or dogma, right? It's nothing like that. It is just a very simple concept that you have to understand first. Pour your thoughts, pour your mind, pour your soul, and work towards it, and understand the whole concepts of what you want to do, where you want to be in the next 1 year, 6 months, or 2 months. Just have the period of time that you want to structure for your business, and based on that, scale every now and then. Because if you do not have the matrix to track the progress of your business, whether it's up or down, you probably may not know that where you're going to land. So better is to start in a small scale and understand this concept very well, which if you have a kind of confusion, just go and review the entire video once again. But I hope this content is going to be helpful for you down the line when you're going to start your business, or trying to scale your business, or trying to understand whether your business is good or not, right? So one of the things is that, do I have a good idea to be a billion-dollar business? Well, of course, there are a lot of people who start business with collecting garbage, waste, people garbage, right? Then they become a billion-dollar company, because people don't want to do that business. Somebody does it, you become a billionaire. So there is nothing impossible, right? So the more you dig the ground, you'll find more pearls and diamonds and gold. So it's up to you. So guys, if you have questions, thoughts, feedbacks, if you want to share some of your experience, I would really appreciate to talk to you and connect with you guys, and share your comments, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't, and also do share this content to friends and folks who will be interested in this journey of entrepreneurship. All right, until the next video, you have a good day, guys.